I was telling the girls earlier when we had a business meeting that I've always loved the line, and a shaman actually gave me that line of a reality only becomes your reality if you accept that as a reality. So when someone says to you, you need clearing, and you go, oh, I need a clearing, then you create that reality because you've accepted that reality.
Okay, interesting.
Now, I have been known to be called a Pollyanna. So the only realities I accept is goodness and grace and ease and joy and abundance. So if somebody comes up to me and says, oh my God, Hope, you are as clear as a bell. Well, thank you very much. I accept that reality. If somebody comes up to me and says, you have dark entities, which has been told to me, sucking off the back of your neck, I say, well, thank you for that perspective, but that is not my reality. Thank you very much. And so I don't accept, there are realities I accept and realities that I don't accept. And that's why as we come together for this event for Black Life Matters #2, it's I am absolutely hopeful. I'm absolutely optimistic. I'm absolutely know that when we gather together collectively and we pray or we emit or we are smiling, we are bringing a new vibration into the planet. That's what the star being in us is doing, is that we're bringing that vibration into the planet. So we're gonna still just allow everybody, it's 4:04, everybody is coming on board, and I welcome you to our second Black Lives Matter, but this is gonna be on equitable love. And so Rebecca, I don't know, are you the one who's going? Rebecca Fabumni has been with me we've known each other for how long, Rebecca?
21 years as of Good Friday in 1999.
Woohoo! You walked into my life, I walked into your life.
Yes.
Yes, it's been fabulous. So, so do you want to introduce this song that you're going to start out with today?
Yes, so let me see. What I would like to say before I play the song is that it's a song that's by India.Arie. I don't know if anybody's familiar with her.
I do.
It's called What If, and I think it just works very well, very nicely with today. And so I hope technology works. I hope it's loud enough, etc. But if it's not, just know intentionally, energetically, the spirit is with you, and so is the frequency and the vibration. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off by playing the song and just say a little bit on equitable love and then open it back up. And if you wouldn't mind me just being able to close, that would be amazing. So let's see. Here we go. So.
Oh, you might want to watch this. Oops.
Open your hearts, minds, and souls, star portals, and all that.
What if Martin didn't stand up? What if Rosa didn't sit down? What if Malcolm didn't man up? Where would we be now? What if Molly didn't get up to stand up? What if Du Bois didn't come to advance us? And Mandela didn't come to teach us? Where would we be now? We are the ones we've been waiting for. We can change the world. We can change the world with our love, 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 love. 'Cause it is up to us. world. Our love can change the world. We can change the world. With our love, 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 love. Our love can change the world. What if Maya didn't speak out? What if Langston Hughes didn't write it down? What if Josephine Baker didn't dance it out? No. Tell me, where would we be now? What if Soldier never told the truth? Or Ida B. Wells never printed the news? Harriet never went underground. Where would we be now? We are the ones we've been waiting for. We can change the world. We can change the world. With our love, 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 love. 'Cause it's up to us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We can change the world. Love can change the world. We can change the world. With our love, 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 love. Our love can change the world. Me too, I matter, you matter, we matter. Together we are love. Me too, I matter, you matter, we matter. Together we are love. It's gotta be all of us to stand up and speak out with all of our love. Cause it is up to us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Change the world. Our love can change the world. We can change the world. With our love, 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 love. Our love can change the world. Oprah, Kamala, Ava, Tarana, and Lena, Serena, Viola, Opal, Patrice, and Alicia. You and me are the chosen. Right now, this is our moment. We are a people of motion. Our love's gonna change the world.
So here are a few of the lines from that song. I hope that everybody could hear it okay.
Yes.
Oh, good. So we are the ones we have been waiting for. We can change the world. It says we change the world, but we can change the world. And our love can change the world. And so as we go into this conversation, I just want you to know that in the space and the place that I come from, that love is my true religion. I use the word God, universe, creator. I don't mean offense to anybody at all whatsoever. But just, so I'll just speak in my own language with you and try to be in allness with you in that. And so I was just very fortunate to have the mother that I had, to be surrounded by certain people that I was brought up with, because I was given the choice to choose love and it explained to me. And now, so more than ever, I really, truly understand it. That forgiveness is real. In our forgiveness, that's where the healing and the love is at. It doesn't matter if you're forgiving self, if you're forgiving somebody else, just whatever it is, that forgiveness is so powerful. And without the forgiveness, this is not going to happen 100% within yourself. So if there's anything that I can say to you, that it's all in your own journey, in the way that you choose to love, But please forgive yourself, and for yourself, please forgive others, because that's where the true healing is, and that's where the love is. And I think if we were all healed human beings, our spirits are wonderful, our spirits are perfect. But as the human being experience in our body, if we would just allow ourselves to really truly heal on all those levels, what a wonderful world we would be in. So let's see. So in terms of equitable, just so we're on the same page as equitable, I just thought I would share this experience that the left side shows equality. And so that just gives, you know, everybody the same thing. But with equity, that's what allows everyone to be able to have what they need to be able to get it as everybody else does. So if you could just take a moment just to think of on the right side and just your areas of your boxes that you need to add more to, your love boxes, for a lack of better words, whether it be forgiveness, hope, fear, a person, yourself, an experience. If you could just think about that and just allow yourself to be in that space, because we are really truly only in control of ourselves. We can't control anyone else. I can't even control my sassy that's here on my lap. I mean, you know, we live together and all that goes on. I can't control my children or my grandchildren. You know, so here we are together in this, and what we can do is our own part. So I welcome us all to tap into our true love. We are perfectly designed to share, to be that conduit, that vehicle, the device, the bucket, the source for love. And the best way to do it is to follow your own impulse, to really truly follow your own impulse for it. And this is just an analogy, but really literally, I think in this moment for it all to really work, if we're gonna really do this and we're gonna go through this gracefully on the other side and just really work the magic, because this has been going on for a long time. All the things that we have seen in the past month has been here. 12 years ago, the state, bless its heart, was high up in terms of in education and housing and everything. It's been disparate, and it's one of the last in the nation in areas of housing, education, salaries, etc., like that. And so it's just a very interesting time. However, we are the answer, and together we will do this. So another piece is to tap into the love vibration. If all of you, I'm sure, who are on this, or if you have not, Mother Hope, who I lovingly call her, has been such a wonderful teacher in terms of energy, love, just all these different inclusive ways to be in this together. And so tapping into the vibration of love. If we think of the analogy of like an orchestra love, we all can't be the same instrument if we're going to be playing this beautiful symphony. So it's okay. Find your own space in your love space. And you don't have to look at another and think, oh my gosh, their love is so amazing. Do your love, be your love. And then also, everybody can't be the conductor. I don't know if anybody's experienced, everybody always, not everyone, but some who try to be the leader, and we all know the best leaders are those who are just doing their thing, and then people just want to follow for a while. So as we're in the symphony of love, be the love that you're inspired to be the love that gives you the most energy, and together, consciously, we can smooth that way for love. It's just like even if we just think of electricity, you know, you don't want to have the resistance in order for the power to work. Together we can do things to smooth that way too. And so I just really thank you for allowing for me to be a part of this. I'm gonna stop my sharing. I'll pick it back up. If I can just gather us together at the end for us to leave together, that would be amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What I would like to share with everybody on this beautiful picturesque faces and hearts of energy is that this particular last week, and I was just telling Rebecca before we came on Zoom a little bit earlier, is that I've been working with some wives who are married to cops. And I've been working with children who their fathers are cops. And the tears and the agony that is also in our Black Lives Matter are also, there are tears and agony in the other community as well. And it's not the other community. And that's what I love about Fabumni and about all of us, you know, knowing Julie and Joe, is that we talk about that there is no other. There's absolutely no other. So just as I did last Monday when I asked a woman to speak who is a police chief, and she stepped back, and I said, take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. And then I asked this particular woman that I know quite well, who is a wife of a genuine holy cop, if she would like to join us. And she stepped back, but she did give me something to read to all of you today. And I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm going to read some of it. And that's what I love about, you know, there's 15 spirits, there's 15 souls on this particular Zoom that we're having right now. But energetically, when we come together in the collective, we are healing the earth as we come together in the collective. So when we open our hearts and saying, you know, everybody has a seat at the table. I just, perhaps, you know, I don't want to tell, it makes me cry, but, you know, for all of you that I've known for so long, you know, everybody deserves a seat at the table. Everybody deserves a seat at the table. And our Black sisters and brothers and children, they deserve a seat at the table. Our handicapped, which I don't really see handicapped, because I almost sometimes see me more handicapped than they are, deserve a seat at the table. The unspoken voices, they deserve a seat at the table. And so I told this woman who cried during most of her time with me, you deserve to be heard and you deserve a seat at the table. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what she wrote to me. So, when Reverend Hope invited me to be part of the conversation that we are having here today, I immediately felt two things. The first was hope that this conversation was happening, and glad tidings that this conversation was happening somewhere, someplace, at some time. But second, and ultimately, the bigger emotion was fear. Fear that I wouldn't say the right thing. Fear that expressing my emotions of sadness and hurt from my perspective as a police officer's wife means that I'm taking away the voice of someone else, which is absolutely wrong. I'm not taking anyone's voice away. I just want my voice to be heard, my children's voice to be heard. Her thought was about perhaps I'm being selfish for wanting people to see the other side. Fear that people will think that I'm trying to drum up sympathy for the bad guys. Fear that everyone now believes that all police officers are the bad guys. This is how I have felt, and then in big letters, a lot lately. A constant heavy burden of trying so hard to see both sides, all sides. I'm a wife, a mom, a teacher, a woman, a nurturer, compassionate, warm, and I am a wife of a police officer. This has opened up many conversations within my family. we are now talking about how profiling people are wrong. We've always talked about that. But we've also talked about peace. But it feels like peace just means we all have hatred for a collective group. We're peace within our collective group. But right now, we have hatred, dismay, uncomfortableness, second guessing the energy of another person, hatred towards another collective group. We all have a common enemy. And right now, the police, in her perspective, is that common enemy for many people. Peace is never about hate. Peace is never about exclusivity. Peace, and what Martin Luther King has talked about, is about love. But that's what it feels like from my perspective. And she sobbed. If every police officer is bad, of course they are not. Is every police officer bad? Question mark. Of course they are not. But is every one of them in the right reason to be the goodness here upon the planet? I absolutely know so, that they are not. Maybe they started out that way, but then their lens of the world changed them. We talk about a few bad apples, and then I hear stories after stories about more bad apples. But does that make them all bad? No. My kids come up to me and ask, because I'm working with their kids, is my dad bad? Is his profession bad? Is my dad bad? I absolutely know, as a woman of an officer, I absolutely know as a woman, as a white Caucasian woman, I know that we live in a society that was built on the advancement of white men. Our justice system, our political system, our educational system, and I absolutely believe that it's time to change these policies and change these systems, absolutely. There isn't an easy answer to all this, and I don't even know what the right answer is, Hope. But I do know that the collective hatred towards any group is never the right answer, because it's a collective hatred towards all. Hope had mentioned to me that in Ireland and in Paris, the police do not carry guns. Oh, what a world that would be. Police would not have to carry guns, because that would mean that a country of citizens are also not carrying guns. Could this ever happen in the United States? I don't know. Maybe that's where this will all lead. We can at least hope for that. But dividing us further certainly is not leading us towards hope and love and peace. Again, she continues to say, which we all do, I do not know, and I don't have the answers. But I think one thing that we can all do is look deep within ourselves, open our eyes to things that we never knew existed, to see where we judge others. Because when you judge another, you judge the all. This is what we are learning at the Hope Interfaith Center. Judge ye not, or you too shall be judged. We want to have all of you acknowledge that within your own souls. Where do you judge? Where do you not accept? Where are you bothered? And where are you angry? And would you want to give that energy to the world? When Hope told me to ask to come into this conversation, I felt my own fear. I was being sick to my stomach at night because I knew that my husband would have to go to work tomorrow. My children's stomachs hurt because they knew that their dad had to go to work tomorrow. Only being able to get a good night's sleep on the nights that I know that he was off work on the next day. Fear that he would be confronted by someone who hates him, who disagrees with him. Fear that he will not make a split-second decision that will change his life, our lives, somebody else's life forever. This is where I hold a heavy burden of both sides. My heart hurts for the hatred towards my husband right now because of the uniform that he wears. My heart hurts for my children because they are scared someone is going to hurt their dad or them because of what dad does for a living. When someone asks him what he does for a living, he says, I work for the city. Because saying he's a police officer right now is not safe. Taking down the signs that says we support police because our house might be vandalized because of it. Seeing my husband come home from work feeling horrible because of his job and the burden that he carries within his soul. Don't get me wrong. Some people still support the police, but if 9 people give you a compliment and 1 person says something negative, which one do we tend to often focus on? Right now, we are all hurting. My heart also hurts for the moms of Black children who fear someone will hurt their family members because of the color of their skin. The fear that they are faced with every day. The fear that someone wearing the same uniform as my husband will hurt their children. The demoralization they feel living in a world of a broken system. I then go into selfishness again because I fear. I don't hate, but I fear. This is a messed up system. And I know that all we need to learn is about love. I also step back and think about priests or ministers who are called to step down because their calling has been corrupt. Should Reverend Hope step down because of her spiritual energy field? No. But she could feel the same way as my husband as a policeman. All we need to do is to educate ourselves on inclusiveness, acceptance, and of love. Our job is to fix no one else and nothing else except ourselves. So when I say this to all of you, I ask for you to think about my side, my hurt, my children. And I promise you that I will think about your hurts, your problems, and your traumas. I will think about you. I will pray for you. I will grow for you. I will accept you. I will love you, no matter what. Love me, love us, and love my husband. Love is the answer. Thank you for allowing me to share this all with you. And so this is what I say to people at the Hope Interfaith Center. And I'm proud of it. I don't pull a belief out of anybody to shove another belief system in. I just don't do that because we're all uniquely made in the image of God. And love is love is love. And I do, you know, Rebecca, I think back of our times together when we've talked about, again, I cry because I don't know if there's an opposite side to love for me. Whether it's a person who has harmed somebody who's in jail, I believe our job as light workers, just as you've so said this, to go inside and where can we just simply love and to bring that forth upon the planet. And working during this particular month, as well as the whole 3 months that I've been working at home, working with so many diverse, lovely, beautiful people who are, and the reason why they come back is because they're simply loved, not judged. And love is the absolute potent energy that we can bring forth upon this planet at this time. And so I lovingly, I don't know if it's a challenge, I think sometimes it is a challenge. I lovingly challenge you to love those who seem to be unlovable to you. To be unlovable to you. I have, it's funny because I was taken through a meditation and the meditation looked like this. And it was about the ultimate love. And the meditation is that imagine yourself and you are taking your last breath upon the planet, and the person you hate the most is holding you. That was one of the most powerful meditations I ever went through. I was to imagine the person who I disliked, or I would think, man, that is the last person. That is the absolute last person I'd want holding me, taking my last breath. And my Christina Rose said, I hope that happens to you, Janice, because you will have gained the ultimate victory if you could look up at that person and say, I forgive you and I love you. I forgive you and I love you. And so I go back to that vision every once in a while about who would that person be. And that person still comes up in my mind, still living. And I hope that I'm able to look at that person and say, if I was taking my last breath, I love you and I forgive you. Rebecca.
What if the person or the persons that we most unlove, and I say love or we're unloving, that we are holding on to them. They're not holding on to us, we're holding on to them. So this whole time, we're just holding on to them and dragging them wherever we go and interjecting them into every single circumstance that we find that serves our ego to stand on that story of how much we unlove them. And what a wonderful thing it would be for self to just let go and love. And then also what it do for them is to just let them go so they're not being drug around in the story and then being wielded into everything that I'll say that I could do to stand on it, to justify my own unloving.
Does anybody else want to share what we've been talking about and how love has moved you, and anything that you'd like to share at this time?
I would like to share something. And that is that with a career over 40 years in nursing, starting from the time I was a teenager, you know, I had to learn that. And I can remember while I was in nursing school and I worked at a nursing home, and I had to bathe elderly people and clean them up. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to touch their bodies, and some of them didn't smell very well. And I was not comfortable with those different kind of an aging body, what that was like. And, but I felt very guilty. And what I did was say a prayer to pretend that this is my dad. When my dad gets old, and how do I want someone to care for my dad? And I had to use that, and I did that through a lot of my nursing career when I worked in a state hospital with 4,000 residents. One or two buildings had 2 caregivers for 100 people. It was deplorable. It smelled. They didn't have clothes on a lot of the time. It was awful. It was unbearable. And again, it was time to pray. I didn't want to touch them. I didn't want to hold them. But through prayer, I was able to really get past that and hold and give love. And I just learned, so much. So I think through nursing, it's just a career of getting past those people you don't want to care for, and they need love, and then it draws that out of you over time. It becomes natural.
Thank you. Thank you. We just ended a star gathering conference this weekend, and the energy of a star being is from our other planetary systems is unconditional love. And through that unconditional love from the higher realms and from the galactic central sun, when an incident comes up, a person comes up, or an event comes up, and you can just unconditionally love it, as weird as it sounds, it can vaporize this energy and transform it into the new world. So from the higher realms of these spatial and collective energy frequencies, that all of us are here now embodying those frequencies of our star roots, of our star energetic fields, and waking up to that is when that energy, because it's a third dimensional energy, when we see Trump or when we see all of the stuff that's happening, the looting, whatever is happening here. And if we come from it from a third dimensional reality, which is talk, then the third dimensional reality doesn't disperse or dissolve or vaporize. But if you can come from a higher energetic field, which all of you who are on this program here today, if you can understand and see your energetic field as this field of energy that's come here, that we vaporize the third dimensional realities of hatred through that love. Now it comes out, it can come out through actions of just saying, I love you. I don't care what you did. I just love you. I just love you. And then we vaporize a reality versus talking about that reality. And so my hope is that after this weekend, when we gathered with many, many, many star beings and coming from a higher realm, is that when you use that energy from the higher frequencies or the higher dimensions, and when people say, well, I'm downloading something, being downloaded, and I keep on saying, so what do you think you're being downloaded with? It's only one thing, really. And that's love, the energy of love. This planetary system does not know unconditional love. And so the star beings, we are those star beings, is that when we're downloaded with only one thing, and we're downloaded with that frequency from the higher echelons of that we are the frequency of unconditional love. And when we download that and then you project that, the trajectory, and I kind of like that word, so I use it a lot, but the trajectory of the whole world changes, which means a domino effect. Julie's shaking her head, because when we download that energy of who we truly are in the cosmic energetic field, and you download that into your body, and you are indeed saying holy words and going like, oh my God, I just love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Then the trajectory or that's the word my husband would use, the trajectory, or I say the domino effect of that love dissolves the third dimensional reality, and it moves the energy, the trajectory of the whole world. So when a person is in front of you, that again, if you imagine a person who's raped you, if you imagine the man or the father who incestualized me, who did incest to me, and if I can move that energy of unconditional love and bring that out, it dissolves that third dimensional reality. It dissolves, it dissolves, it dissolves, it dissolves. You cannot, again, Einstein, you cannot solve the problem on the level of which it started. Is that the correct statement of Einstein? You cannot, Joe, do you remember that statement long ago? You cannot solve the problem on the level of which it was started. You must move to a different level of consciousness to dissolve the problem. Rebecca?
Well, I was just agreeing with you that you were getting the Einstein philosophy correct.
Yeah, thank you.
All the solutions aren't in the same frequency of where the problems are. You have to get out of the frequency of the problem and go into the solution.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes. So why don't you think people get that? Joe? You're still muted.
There we go.
Okay.
You know, and I'm listening to you, and I, you know, I come from love, and I'm certainly projecting, or as much as I can, unconditional love, because I don't see color, I don't see religion, I don't see any of these things. I just see us as all us, and yet at the same time, you know, I'm having to go really inside and really, really look at a lot of old things that I had no clue was still there. So I think this is all really good stuff. But I had somebody say to me, yeah, what about all this love stuff? I don't see this love stuff changing anything out there. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I agree with you, Joe. I 100% agree with you because I've had people who I absolutely love, even teachers of who I am. I don't know this love and light shit. You know, you're just always in love and light, love and light, love and light. And so then I contract. I really contract because then I think, well, okay, so I think you might know something better because she's a very well-known person. And she goes, you know, all this love and light and stuff. So I don't know. Again, just as Rebecca said, is that I was raised with a mother who, you know, she wasn't absolutely perfect, but she showed me what love was. I mean, she really did.
So what do you have to say?
What do you say, Rebecca?
Our journey isn't everybody else's journey. And so the whole piece with free will is that, you know, free to be you, free to be me. That's been, okay, so one, I love that record, Marlo Thomas and all that. I don't know if everybody else knows that, but I could sing all the songs and do a dance around all of them. But really, literally, free to be you, free to be me. And that's the space of being in love. Because really, literally, we have no control over anything except for ourselves. And so we're here to do ourselves the best that we can. And so really, literally and I could be right, I could be wrong, I don't know, but this is where I'm at today in this moment. If I get so upset about something, that means in that something, there's a piece of that in me. And if I go out into the world and I have something within inside of me and I'm not doing that something that I'm upset about, I'm still reflecting that energy out there, if that makes sense. I don't know. Really, literally, I really do believe that we are really, truly on our own journeys together. And for me to go into somebody else's space and try to tell them how to do it and what to do or whatever, I'm not doing it. I you know, I've learned that so well from my children. And I've learned it so well in the workplace too. I think I've learned it in terms of my own love relationship. I just have learned it on many different levels. And really, literally, if we do ourselves wonderful, that's the wonder we can create in the world. And that's what we're here to do, not to get into somebody else's space and try to do their thing, because we can't. And this is what I really truly believe. Untruths don't exist. Only the truth exists. And so we can be in this dance of being in a lot of untruths, and we're on a journey to get into the truth. So if you love truth, then go into the truth. You know? I mean, that's just another way of saying it. You know, undo the untruths and go into the truth. Because this is what I do know, and I'll bring this back to Mother Hope in terms of 21 years of a lot. And then just my own experience and my love and joy for just science and energy, et cetera, and always being curious. It feels different. It feels different. It resonates.
I just was wondering if everybody's frozen.
Love
Maybe
feels
it's just
different
coming in.
than the unlove. Truth feels different than the untruth. And even if you don't yourself, you're unclear of what it is, just take the time to just feel it. And you will know, because your soul knows. If you just allow yourself that moment of just a pause, oh my gosh, pregnant pauses can save the world. I mean, just have a pregnant pause and just be like, you know, and then, whatever your and then is.
I agree entirely with you. You know, I do remember back when I was working and I was having a big conflict in my mind with a colleague. And at that time, every time I'd go to Hope Center, I would see that I am you, you are me, we are one. And so I started looking at that other person as, that's me. That's just another aspect of me I need to see right now. And so once I could look at that person and think, oh my gosh, I'm treating myself awful because I don't like that behavior over there. You know, and I learned a whole lot by looking at it in that way, that we really are all one. And if I'm seeing something that's disturbing to me or in conflict or I'm not accepting, you're right, Rebecca, what you just said is about, it's really inside me that I didn't like. And I think that really helped me. And in our world right now, I do believe that we're all light. And I believe that every time we hold that light, whether it's in that moment or that whatever, we are using the trajectory of sending it out to the world. I have always thought of us all as a great big light beam, you know, and we do have to, it is our journey. And if we're doing that, and if you're doing that, and you're doing that, and you're doing that, wow, look what we're doing for our world. So.
I have a question for Rebecca and Denise. I'm glad that you're on here with us. But I'm like Joe. So, and you might remember, Rebecca, when we were seeing each other more often, and I said, I don't see you as my Black friend. And then I thought to myself, like, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. But when I say, so this is really a question to the both of you, Rebecca and Denise, is that when I say that I don't see color, I have had, again, Black friends who say, well, then you don't see me. I want you to see Black. Then you don't see me. And I kept on saying to them, and she's a very strong, powerful woman. And I said to her, I do see you, but I don't see you as necessary. I don't identify you with a Black Muslim woman. I recognize that, I honor that, I support that, I love that. But when we're together, it's like we dissolve, and I don't see that. So how does that feel for the both of you when I say, you know, like, how does that feel for the both of you?
Do you want to go first, Denise, or do you want me to go first? Okay, I'll take your mute as me. So, so once again, this is me now, but I'm going to answer your question. Free to be you, free to be me. I don't want to get in that space of where then it gets in this, courageous conversations are amazing. So I'm not conflict avoidant. So it's not that, but just in that space of honoring where everybody's at in their journey. So that's what I mean by free to be you, free to be me. But the reality is that we're not all the same. We aren't. We in this exercise of being here on this earth, when we look at each other, we see different things. Our voices may be in a different tone. Our hair, our how people are responding to COVID-19 is a journey of within their own internal universe, etc. And so I'll just say it this way. I think it's fine. It's absolutely fine to be able to say the descriptors of what one is. It's like if you were to say that if we couldn't use adverbs or verbs, you know, like these action-oriented things to be able to have our conversations, it would be very hard. And so it's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's the energy that is behind what people say that is more than anything.
Yes. Yes.
Because really, literally, in the communication, it's all about the energy, and then it goes into what's the tone, and then it goes into what's the intention, and then it goes into the words. So really, literally, you know, it'll regardless of what you say, regardless of how you describe me, your energy will be presented to me.
Yes.
And I will get it. If that makes sense.
Yes. 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 Thank you. How about for you, Miss Denise, my Black Madonna friend?
And I do love when you say that to me. So, so I agree with Rebecca. I think that it's okay to see that. And like, I think it's fun to see people who are different and to learn about their different cultures, to see how they do things differently. The world is different. We all have these differences in there. I think it's great to know, to see, to know, to experience the differences amongst all of us. But I think when we talk about like love and energy, you don't see, that's not something that you physically see. I mean, we love each other, so then, you know, we say it or we do things that resemble that, but that love that we feel, those unseen things, you know, it's energy. I don't think those have colors, or it just is what it is. So it's like, I feel your love, but I don't know what color that is. It just is love. So I, you know, feel it inside of me. It's a feeling. It's not, there's no color there, but it's that energetic field. And so, and when you were talking about that earlier about the weekend, when I heard Yvonne Perry and even Garrett do their love language, you know, that's not a written down type of thing. You don't read or write that. You just hear it, and it just like brings, it's that feeling of love. It's, you can't see it or write it, you know, it's just love, and you just feel that. And it's, so there's differences. So I'm Black. I'm not going to change that. So, and I think that it's great. If you didn't see me as a, you know, being Black, you wouldn't call me the Black Madonna. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that you see that. So, so I think the differences that we have are just amongst us is just so beautiful. And, you know, look at, there's so many different colors amongst us, and I think that they're just all beautiful. And but I don't know what color love is. It's just a feeling, and energy is, you know, I mean, I guess you can see it, but it just exists. There's no, I don't know how to explain that, but it just is there. So, so
yeah. So how did the two of you feel? Are you reacting, responding, feeling anything about the latest incident that happened in Atlanta this last week? I happen to really, really like the mayor of Atlanta. Atlanta. Is that right? Yeah, Atlanta. She is a powerful, outspoken cheetah woman. And so how did you two feel about the recent incident that happened in Atlanta?
Would you be willing to share that so we're all on the same page of our response to it?
Yep, absolutely. Because again, I had this fantastic talk with Paul. In Atlanta, and just in this last week, there was an intoxicated Black man, which could have been my intoxicated son, a white man, and he had fallen asleep in the drive-through of a Wendy's. And so they called and said there was a Black man who was intoxicated, and he fell asleep, and he was blocking the drive-through. So when the cops came, they asked him to get out of the car. They knew that he was intoxicated, and he started fighting back because he was intoxicated. And then he got nervous, and it looked like he got one of the policemen's tasers, and he started running. And instead of shooting him in the leg or shooting him in the shoulder, they shot him either twice or 3 times in the head, in the back of the head. And of course, there was a lot of tragicness, sorrow, and wondering, why didn't he just say, hey, wake up, you're intoxicated, sleep, drive your car over to the parking lot and fall asleep, or move over, I'll drive your car to the park. So like, would that have happened? And I sat there and thought, like, would that have happened if that was a white man, if that was a white young man versus a Black man? And so again, I and Paul are having these conversations, and that's what Paul, when he was watching, he says, why didn't, you know, if they're trained, why didn't they shoot him in the leg? Why didn't they shoot him in the arm? Why why didn't one of the other policemen taser him? Why'd they shoot him in the back of the head? I don't know. So I was feeling a lot of energy around that. I just think like, okay, here we go again. I mean, remember when I talked about the next shoe is going to drop until we move this energy into the right place. So any response from you two gorgeous women?
Well, I don't know if it would have been different had it been a white person. I think people right now are so on high alert. I mean, I'm going to say more than likely, yes, it's more probable that that would have happened because he was Black versus if he was white. That's how I feel. But, you know, the scenario could have been different. But, you know, when you were reading the letter in those other countries that don't have the police officers with a gun, if that was done as a welfare check and an officer or somebody, community protection person came without that equipment and they came to do a welfare check, or maybe a mental health person came along and they went to investigate the situation and that person would have ran, he'd still be alive today if something was different. But because they had the guns and they used them, he's dead. So, you know, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if people are just after, I don't know, was it 2 weeks ago when that happened, that it's happening again. It just is like, well, why is this happening again? I don't know if they're just more intense and so they're more scared. I don't know why. I don't get it either. Mm-hmm. It's just very unnecessary that yet again, it happened. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll say that this happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's not just what happened on 38th Street, less than a mile from my house. It happens all the time in this country. It happens all the time. Yeah. Everybody just doesn't hear about it. Everybody just doesn't want to hear about it. Everybody just doesn't want to know. Everybody doesn't want everybody to know. And it's been happening for decades. For decades. So I want to answer this in two parts, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, if he took it the taser, they were all scared to get tased. You know, they could have pulled out another taser and just tased him.
Yeah.
And he would have went down. This is what I know because this is my thing. You know, God bless the police. I want to be safe. Serve and protect me. That's me. You know, I worked for decades in terms of designing things. We need to have that enforcement behavior to help to keep things safe in terms of the things that I did amongst everything else. So I want to be protected and served. So I'm full disclosure, that's me. So in terms of me doing my part in my neighborhood, I interact with the police in terms of their Citizens Academy that they have here in the city of Minneapolis, police department. They have this new deal called Bola Wraps. I just heard about it before COVID went down. I mean, Bola Wrap somebody. And what that is that it winds something around you. And if you move, you just face plant or something. That's not shooting somebody in the skull, taking their brain out, you know, whatever else goes down. And so there's options. There definitely are options. It wasn't a violent crime. It is the person was drunk. That was the choice they made. But I just want you to know it happens all the time. And just an example of from woman to woman, the woman who was arrested for using the zip code for her child to get good education, because again, there's a big, huge education disparity. She got 5 years. The woman who cheated the system unethically and paid to get her child into college just got a little nugget of nothing, in my opinion, and that's where the difference is. And so my beloved sisters and brothers, if there's brothers, or thems or us, and you know, all the gender pieces, I just want to say there's many levels and layers to this. And really, literally, bless the police officer's wife who wrote that eloquent letter, who expressed herself so well to be able to say how she felt, how her children feel, how her husband feels, how she feels about that. And I'm telling you right now, may your hearts be open, may your ears be open, may your souls be open. We feel it every day, all day long, generationally. I have 4 grandsons. Oh my God, they are little love buckets. I have 3 granddaughters, love buckets. They hear so much every day, all these messages that I have to lovingly try to undo.
Yep.
And so it's a lot. And so as that woman so eloquently expressed her pain, it's her pain in a moment. We feel it all day long, all year, for years, for a lifetime, for generations now. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. When I go to Lagos, Nigeria, it's not the same. It's a different safety thing for me, but it's not the same as experiencing being here at all. If we just do our piece, that's all I'm asking. And and just know my whole life, and Denise knows this, and anybody who knows this, I hope you know this too. I always go for those who are the underdog. I've been that way as a kid. It's just, I was born into this way. And so, and I don't mean underdog in any bad way, but for those who need that when we started at the beginning, who needs that third step up, I'm going right to them. And I, like, hey, woo! So that's my answer.
I love it.
That's my answer.
And I would for me, on my side, I totally, completely, and utterly hear you. I totally and completely, utterly hear you. I totally, completely, and utterly hear the 2 of you, my Black sisters. I do.
And so I'll say this. May I never have to experience forgiving. I've already forgiven police officers for things they've done to me, and that's okay. We don't need to get in that story because I'm here, and it's not as traumatic as some of the things we've seen as of lately. But I'm here to tell you right now, if that happens to one of my grandchildren, my children, just my family or something like that, it hasn't happened close to my inner circle like that. But if it does, it's going to be my journey to be in forgiveness for that person. Because when I heard about the whole thing that happened on 38th Street, this is where my heart went. Oh my gosh. He must have been hurt. And I'm talking about the police officer. I mean, just like a totally wounded inside to do that. He needs some love. He needs a love injection. He needs a whole prayer circle. He needs people dancing around him, blowing some love and life into him. And if that would have happened before, we wouldn't be here now. And I think that that's just the whole piece of that. We just, may we go into forgiveness because that's where the healing and the love is. And I'm just putting this out there. If ever I'm in a situation where it is so intense, please encircle me so I can be in my forgiveness, because that is my journey, to just be in forgiveness and love and, be my best me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Denise, how about you? How about last words from you? What would you like us to hear as your white sisters? I know that underneath all this, we're all the same, but what would you like us to hear as your white sisters?
Well, I think I might have said some of this last week, but when you meet a person and you just automatically assume things, but regardless of what color they are, we don't know how their day started. We don't know if maybe earlier in the day, maybe if they're being angry or feel that frustration against you or somehow, or maybe they make you angry. we don't know what happened in their life before. We don't know how they were brought up. We don't know what their situation was. And so to love as much as you can, and know that we don't know the whole story. Everybody has different things in their lives, and people are trying to, I hope they're trying to live their best life, and what can we do to assist that person, whoever it may be. And I do feel that when I go out into the world, if I don't do anything, but I just send out love and light, I feel like that is being somehow reciprocated. If I go out in the world and I'm angry and, blaming the whole world, I feel like that is also somehow reciprocated. And so I just want to be my best self, so that I can, in my own ways, just send love and light out to everybody. And, if nothing else, I feel like that energy that we put out in the world has to multiply and add to the light and love that's in the world. So that's how I see it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, once again, this has been fabulous, just absolutely fabulous. And I invite you all back, for those of you who are at the book club, to join us on Thursday. Kathy Brennan will be speaking at the book club on Thursday at 4 o'clock. For those of you who are not on the book club, next Monday is going to be our very last Zoom as a collective. I hope to be back. My husband doesn't want me to go back, but I'm going to be back at the center around July 8th. We do have a community online for the next 6 months that you can follow us if you'd like. It's an online community that will connect in this way twice a week for the next 6 months. You can look at that on our website if you're interested. And it will be a open yet what I would call closed circle, because next Monday, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Renita to come back to talk. And she and I are trying to write a book called Dive Deep Quickly. Dive Deep Quickly. And into conversations, into the heart table, inviting everybody to the table that people can. So she will be with us next week on Monday. And the title for next Monday on Zoom will be Dive Deep Quickly. And that will be our last Zoom. So I thank you. Rebecca is going to end with the ending song. As always, I love you all so very, very much. So Rebecca, thank you for being with us, Rebecca. And Denise, my Black sisters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so we started out with India Arie's song, What If? And so within there's some words that together we are love. Our love is going to change the world, and it is up to us. And I truly believe that. And so I'm just going to take the time to play this song again. And I hope that you can just receive it and just leave in the most lovingly way.
What if Martin didn't stand up? What if Rosa didn't sit down? What if Malcolm didn't man up? Where would we be now? What if Molly didn't get up to stand up? What if the boys didn't come to advance us? And Mandela didn't come to teach us? Where would we be now? We are the ones we've been waiting for. We can change the world. We can change the world. With our love, 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 love. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We can change the world. Our love can change the world. We can change the world. With our love, 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 love. Our love can change the world. What if Maya didn't speak out? What if Langston Hughes didn't write it down? What if Josephine Baker didn't dance it out? No. Tell me, where would we be now? What if Soldier never told the truth? Or R.W. Wells never printed the news? Harriet never went underground. Where would we be now? We are the ones we've been waiting for. We can change the world. We can change the world. With our love, 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 love. 'Cause it's up to we are the ones we've been waiting for. We can change the world. Our love can change the world. We can change the world. With our love, 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 love. Our love can change the world. Me too, I matter, you matter, we matter. Together we are love. Me too, I matter, you matter, we matter. Together we are love. It's gotta be all of us. Stand up and speak out with all of our love. Cause it's up to we are the ones we've been waiting for. We can change the world. Our love can change the world. We will change the world. With our love, 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 love. Our love can change the world. Oprah, Kamala, Ava, Tarana, and Lena, Serena, Viola, Opal, Patrice, and Alicia. You and me are the chosen. Right now, this is our moment. We are a people of motion. Our love's gonna change the world.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody. I love you. I was on mute. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Denise.
I love you.
I love you too. Enjoy the evening. Bye-bye.
Feel free to share feedback with me.
Yeah.